What's up, guys? I'm Gary. You're watching Diesel Fuel Network. If you're new to the channel, we get into a few different things around here, but pretty much if it has an engine, can go down the road and do burnouts, that's the kind of stuff that I'm into. So if you're from the last episode, well, the hot rod tractor did not do so well that time. We took it out for a drive, and the belt completely fried itself. I think it caught on something, though. We're going to try and diagnose that in this episode, and it does drive again in this episode here on the property. Although, unfortunately, only briefly. So, here's some footage from the last video just to refresh your memory, because that thing was on an absolute rip. Alright, so what happened here? Those threads there were all caught up underneath this pulley by the time I got back. Now, I have a couple of ideas as to what happened. Let's just start with the alignment of the pulleys, because I had an issue, and actually I've had an issue for a while now, where the belt would twist. It would just twist on itself. It's hard to tell from looking on camera here. Actually, maybe if I go over here, you can get an idea. You can maybe see that it's hard to see, but the engine pulley is lower than the clutch pulleys. And the actual V pulley there, the other white clutch pulley there, is up even higher than that pulley. So, misalignment there may have caused it to flip. Now, the weird thing was, right before I started taking off, or, well, right when I started it up in the video, the belt was jumping around. Usually, that indicates a wear spot in the belt, or if you have plastic pulleys, like idler pulleys, if you have a plastic idler pulley with a wear spot in it, it'll jump around. Now, there's obviously no plastic idlers on this. They're both metal. And if we look at the belt, what does it tell us? I mean, I haven't really examined this belt yet. For the most part, it looks like evenly worn out until it just... And obviously, I cut it. You know, I cut it just to get it off there. But what the heck happened? Now, it must have caught on something. And what I'm thinking is, the only difference here, the only thing that's been changed... There is this transaxle and this shifter location. And now what I was thinking, a couple things could have happened. Now, the belt having a wear spot, making it jump around, means that while it was jumping around, it might have caught that belt guard right there that's not quite a belt guard and it's cut. That may have happened. Or we have the only thing that's different from before, meaning, is the shifter. So in top gear, I noticed that might actually be kind of close to the belt. So I do have a new belt. We're going to throw that on, and we're going to see if we can figure anything out, spot the problem. And another thing is, and I said it before in the other video, this Peerless 820 is in need of some help. I mean, the bearings are all really noisy. The input shaft bearing is wasted. That's wobbly as hell, and I don't remember if it was like that before I drove it yesterday or not, or whenever that was, not yesterday. Another thing, I did check the oil level when I got back, and it was definitely low. I'm thinking I might have just not have filled it enough. I don't know. I don't remember how much oil I usually put in the 206. But I maybe put about, oh yeah, I put about a little over a quart and a half. Maybe I should have probably just put the 2 full quarts in there, but also it had been leaking. You know, they will leak. These Peerless 820s are not sealed. The MST 206 is meant to have gear oil from the factory, and it is sealed. It has actual, axle seals on it. So, while this was sitting for a few days after I got oil in it, it was leaking quite a bit, but I don't think it leaked much. I don't think it leaked enough to not have enough oil in it. I think maybe I just didn't put enough oil in it. I'm starting to think that this 820 probably would be best with grease and oil. Normally they have grease in them stock. It's like a special compound of grease, 00 grease. But yeah, let's go ahead and put that new belt on there and see where it leads us. Shifter linkage has to come off. I'm looking at this and I'm already pretty sure that that's what actually happened. I think that the belt was rubbing on. There's no indication that it was rubbing on there though. So I don't know. Let's get the new belt on there and check. Because like when I set this up originally with the MST 206, this shifter linkage in top gear was still pretty much perfectly straight, because of the location and the way the shifter arm was. And everything about this is a little bit different. It's a little bit orientated a little bit different. So in top gear right now, that is like right underneath the belt. So I didn't really, I didn't really check, I don't think, in top gear, whether or not I had a good amount of clearance to the belt. I did sit here and run it on a jack stand and go through all the gears, but I did that before I even put this link on here. Before I did that, it was actually hitting the belt, so I don't know. Let's see what we can find here. So we just need to pop that off just to run the belt through there. Basically, up through there like that. Back. And if I have to, I can make this a little bit different. Now I did try to actually mount this into this hole, but it was too stiff. There wasn't enough leverage on that, so we might come up with something. Might have to come up with something else here. All right. Now you're hidden. I also suspect I see some threads there. It might have caught on one of those pieces there. I don't know if you could see that, but it may have caught on one of those, and I had, worried about that happening. I wanted to get rid of those. Oh, you know what? I almost think I see what. Oh no, because it shouldn't even be going past there, because that bent. Oh, so I wonder if that was the issue. Oh, you know what else? I think I gotta loosen this to get that on there, since she's brand new. Yeah. What I'm thinking is I'm gonna have to take these pulleys off anyway, because I think part of the problem is I have to space them down a little bit if they're too high compared to that crank pulley on the engine. Yeah, so let's see. But I'm going to leave it all as is right now so I can kind of diagnose this situation, see where we're at. It's kind of weird though, because it was working really fine with the other transaxles. Kind of strange. Yeah. There. Yeah. Yeah. That was freaking tough. Get on that. Oh my lord, I can't. Yeah, there she goes. Oh, ay, ay, ay. All right, we got it. Now, are you still looking? I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, you are. So, yeah, lean in that freaking water again, dude. So, I am telling you right now, it's nowhere near the shifter. Yeah, I really don't think, providing that belt is staying where it's supposed to, the shifter shouldn't be in the way at all. Now, this as well, that little thing there, I don't know if you can see that over there, that shouldn't be in the way. Belt feels tight, everything feels good. I think a couple things are, this is definitely off alignment here. Whoa, oh that's right, I just forgot I loosened that. Let me fix that. Tighten that up. There we go. All the bearings are good too. I rolled those pulleys, they're fine. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't even look that far off from this angle, but I'm pretty certain this is part of the issue. I think this clutch pulley is, yeah, I mean, definitely. The bottom of this pulley seems to be about where the middle of this pulley is. So that's definitely a problem, and that's probably why it flipped the belt. And overall, once it does that, I mean, you're pretty much, like, this is super tight too. This is really nice right now. So something, that had to be the issue. I think just running it hard for a while burned up the belt doing that, and then it just jumped off. Now another problem is I don't have good belt guards. Obviously this, if you could see that, this belt guard is just cut. And that's something that if it catches on that, it's going to wreck the belt. This belt guard is okay right here. I don't see any issue with it. Although, I will say, it actually seems like it's rubbing on it right there. So that might be in a bad position. Yeah, that's actually hitting right now. So, worst that's going to do probably is just wear it out. Although it's almost not even hitting. It's like just maybe contacting slightly. But like this side of the belt even feels tight, and this side feels tight. This feels really good. Is the pulley on the transmission cocked? No, it's not. It looks fairly decent. So yeah, the thing is, we need belt guards to prevent this from happening again. And I think, although it's really tight right now, I think I might even add another V-idler back here. It's maybe like somewhere in the middle here. That will just be another preventative measure to keep it, to keep it from jumping around or falling. Because when you clutch it, the problem is it's great when it's like this, but when you go and you clutch it, the belt wants to drop, in which case it can catch on one of these, which I got to get rid of these. These were, I only got to get rid of those anyway. So yeah, I mean, the belt might have just dropped out of place and caught on something. But again, I need to drop this, and maybe even drop this one too, I don't know. Drop it down about, quarter inch or so, half inch. And then I think hopefully that'll solve that, along with adding belt guards to the front here, a V-idler in the middle, and we'll put belt guards on the back as well. And hopefully that will prevent that, because this belt feels tight. That's really, really actually pretty good. So, yeah, that's my best understanding as to what happened. Yeah, so I think I have one idea here as to what may have happened. Is that at some point I had, during this rebuild I had moved the throttle pedal forward. And now that bolt right there is well, only if the belt stretches. When the belt wears out, this clutch gets closer and closer to that frame. Right now it's right up against that because there's no belt on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill into the frame and I'm going to make a stop that'll go up against this clutch arm to stop the clutch going all the way to the frame. I'm just going to use this little bolt here. Unfortunately, none of the million holes in this frame are right lined up with it, so I'm just going to drill a hole, make it happen.
Alright, so I realized I never actually got any more footage in the garage. I just started driving it, because there was a few other things I was going to do I never did. So let's just check out that thing that I said I was making. I mean, it's really just nothing more than a bolt in the side of the frame.
And the purpose is to stop the clutch going all the way. So it's not touching right now, at least I don't think. I can't see it because the belt is on there. Another thing I forgot to say, and frankly I don't think it's really even something I need to show, but I did end up dropping the clutch pulley. Just got some washers in there spacing it down, and I also tweaked the belt guard. You probably can't really see it. But yeah, it's the same cut belt guard because I realized I really couldn't do anything with it. The reason why that was like that was because of the steering box that I put in here. She's high off the ground now. Where's it set? That's good. 30-something. 4,000. Yeah, that transmission sounds beautiful, doesn't it? good news and I got bad news. Good news is it still drifts in the grass like crazy with those tires. And you know, I thought the nut might have come off and the wheel flew off. No, that's not what happened. The whole axle just snapped right off. Like the end of the axle just snapped right off. Good thing that didn't happen going down the road. But now I'm kind of disappointed. Because, dude, the gear ratios are insane with those big tires. I was in second gear just taking off that way, and it's fast as hell. So we're going to have to get into that again and fix that. Yeah, can't win with this thing right now. I hope you're still recording. Are you still watching? Yeah. Now the fun part. I got to get that thing back up the hill. Yeah, that's going to suck. I actually wonder if I could just drive it up the hill with one wheel, to be honest. Oh, man. Alright, well, she's got a welded diff. So, theoretically, I might be able to limp it back up with one wheel. I guess you could just watch from here and see how interesting that may be. We'll see if she even moves out of that spot right there. Oh man, oh yeah, that ain't happening. Try it though. Weird. You know what happened? How is that possible? Okay, so alright. I'm gonna wait till I get closer to that camera before I start talking. Alright. So let it be known that transaxle, Peerless 820, that I just recently put on there, already had bolts welded to the axles to extend them. I did not weld those bolts. The 206 that's in there that has the bent axles, I welded those on, oh, I don't know, like 5 years ago. Maybe a little less. 3 years ago, 4 or 5, somewhere in between 3 to 5 years ago. Beat the hell out of it. Never had any issues. So I actually know right when this happened too. I was putting those wheels on and I tightened the freaking hell out of them. And I thought, I was like, you know what? That didn't feel right. They're 1-inch bolts. They're like super they must have broke right at the welds. It looks like right where they were welded on, they broke right off. And again, I did not weld those bolts to the axles. I'd admit it if I did, because you know what? It's silly anyway. It's stupid, but both bolts just broke off of there. Somehow, oh, you know what, probably, I bet right when I took off, too, because I freaking took off and it was spinning and I spun up the other side. Man, it's going to be a real bitch to get that thing up now. I don't even know. I mean, I don't got like a super long chain to hook to my truck, or a rope or something to hook to my truck. Hook a bunch of straps together maybe and hook to my truck. That thing's pretty heavy. Well, I guess, honestly, the first thing I'm going to try to do maybe is just put the wheel on there in a way that it'll kind of be movable, maybe, and then see if I could push it closer to where maybe I could put a strap onto it and maybe pull it up with my truck. I don't know. Let's see. I'm just going to, well, I guess we'll bring you in for a closer look, too. This is really stupid. I can't believe that just happened. And oh how happy I am that I did not just drive down the road with that. Boy, oh boy. I don't think I'd have got too far with it on the road, but it probably would have been going a hell of a lot faster when it busted. That's pretty disappointing and pretty embarrassing, I got to admit. Hey, at least I was filming it. So, because I almost wasn't going to film my first drive with these tires. Axle stub's completely gone. Well, I should say the bolt's completely gone, and it's the same on this side. Oh man, this sucks. This really sucks. Well, yeah. So I guess, let's try to see if that wheel will even go on there in a way that I can move it. The other thing that sucks is my Isuzu right now. I was just working on it yesterday. It's got a blown brake line. It's hydraulic brakes. Replaced a brake line, and I knew I should have replaced the one right next to it, but I didn't. So as I was getting that brake line all bled out, popped the other brake line. That has a winch on the back of it, so it, you know, that's more something. I could have parked it there and maybe yanked the winch down here and got a little bit more out of it. A little bit easier time on pulling this up, but I think what I'm going to end up doing is trying to get it as close to the edge of the hill as I can, and then maybe hook some straps together and try to pull it up with the board. I don't know. Hey, at least I'm very close to home. Technically at home, I guess you'd say. Alright. Man, you know what's funny? I actually thought, when it started going down like that, I actually was like, is there a hole in the ground? I thought I like went into the ground. And you know what too? I may have even caused this, because although I said I didn't weld the bolts to the axles, I was a little bit concerned about the way they were held on there, so I didn't have a jam nut. So what I ended up doing was I took a punch and a hammer and I tried peening over the nut, which in turn was also putting a lot of like hard hit on the bolt itself, the end of the axle. So I was probably, I was really stressing it, probably wrecking it. You know, this is pretty heavy. Maybe I ought to go get, and that's not the greatest mounting situation. So. Oh yeah, that's actually, at least get it up. And I didn't bolt the seat all the way on either. There we go. At least try to get, actually, you know what? I could probably put that collar on there, or get that collar moved. No, because then the wheel won't go on because of the exhaust. Oi, oi, oi. That exhaust isn't that hot either. Boy, this sucks. This is where I really need somebody's help. You freaking, oh come on. Oh my god. Oh, this sucks, dude. Oh. Got an idea. Pause it for a second. Alright, so what I'm going to try to do is just stick these other wheels on the back, because I have enough axle. The whole stock axle's still there. It didn't actually break, it just broke off the bolt. So I got keys, I got the wheels, that's a hammer and a thing, so I can, what did I do with the hammer and the chisel? Dang it, I forgot that, didn't I? I need to knock the, what do you call it? I need to knock those locking collars out of there, out of the way. Oh my god. That's sort of on there. That'll work probably. I'm not going to get too greedy. I think they got it good enough. As long as I can get And yeah, there's still key there, so keyway is all the way on the outside. So the whole axle is fine. That isn't really going to be. Come on off of there. Oi! There she goes. There it is. Don't have a lot of battery on that freaking phone. I just gotta get this off, and then hopefully I can use this to actually hold it on, but I don't know if I can. Beautiful. I meant hopefully I can use the locking collar to get they're still, the E-clip slot is still there. Like, the axle is completely undisturbed almost, like as if there was no penetration. But what's weird is, oh, that one's tight, there it goes. Now I got anti-seize all over me. What's weird is these have also been on here for a long time. My friend did this a long time ago and they've been holding up no problem. But a part of the issue is he had the wheels, he had the locking collars like an inch in, so the wheels were more on the axles. I kind of stupidly, but thought it'd be fine, I knocked the collars out further so that I could get the wheels spaced out further. So there's like only an inch, maybe inch and a quarter, I don't know, pretty small amount of the actual axle holding the wheel. So all of the weight of the vehicle was on those bolts. I'm definitely not doing it like that again. I think I'm going to use that go-kart axle maybe and chain drive to it off of the transaxle like I said I was going to do before. Probably with no suspension though. So let's, I'm going to get the hammer and chisel and knock this locking collar off there. Will go on since those axles are kind of chewed up.
Running down to 15% battery, and that's all. That way I can at least get it somewhere closer. I can run an extension cord and film it from there. Oh, what a freaking idea.
There she is. Well, just not to waste recording and not to waste battery, which is now at 13%. I'm gonna wait till I get that off and get these wheels on here and we'll see what we look like after that. All right, so first off, mere moments ago, I had said I was gonna put those on. I don't know what I was thinking. Those are 3/4 inch axle wheels, so I realized, all right, I still have the hubs and everything bolted up to these wheels already. I just was able to slip them right on there. Unfortunately, so what I was gonna do, I'm gonna stick these on and put those lock collars on to hold them on. Well, that ain't happening. So luckily they were tough going on. I had to use a big hammer to get them on there. So I'm just gonna, and look how silly that looks. Holy crap, that looks ridiculous. Wait, did I hit the, no, it's, oh, that's gonna, no, it's good. That is the silliest thing I've ever seen. That's pretty funny, actually. That tells you right there how much it was widened. So I am going to just limp it back up and hope in first gear and hope that those don't come off again. So what I'm going to do, actually, I think I'm going to go set you up there and watch me come on up. So yeah, stay tuned. I don't know, I ain't giving up on it, but I just figured I'd park it right there because, of course, I just topped it off on gear oil in the trans, and it leaks like crazy, so I know what I'm going to end up doing. I think I know what I'm going to do. It's a pretty big job, so I think what I also am going to end up doing, and kind of before that, is I might start playing with this one. So there's not a whole lot of room in here to have two in there. And there you see, actually that's gas. Is that gas? No, the gas probably already, yeah, the gas already evaporated. That's actually gear oil. Disgusting smelling gear oil, which I don't want leaking all over the floor in here. It's bad enough I already do put cardboard down to lay down on that floor, but yeah, so like I said, not giving up on it, but I just think I'm going to park it here for right now, just so while she's leaking gear oil, it's not really going to bother me. But hey, that worked pretty good. And look, it didn't even move at all. But yeah, and actually it's got a lot of traction. It still has pretty good traction up the hill with with those wheels, those tires, I should say. So yeah, I think what I'm going to end up doing is something that I said I was going to do a while back, and I kind of changed my mind. I don't know if I actually never said it on here on YouTube, but some of the viewers I have on TikTok had an idea of knew about this idea that I kind of gave up on. I have this motorcycle swing arm here. I was considering trying to make that work at the rear of the tractor and utilize this go-kart axle. But again, I'm not so sure I want to do it like that. I may just want to utilize the go-kart axle solid instead of having suspension, because doing it that way is going to mean the wheelbase will be much longer. But we'll get to that, or we'll figure that out when we get to it. We'll make that decision when we get to it. Another thing that I will be showing is how I made this out of a wheelbarrow, and didn't end up going any further because I wasn't sure I liked the way it looked. I may continue with the bottom part of it, so look forward to that, as well as whatever else I get into. I have a lot of things to do, and I just don't know what and when I'm doing them. And I also have that crappy freaking Cobalt over here, which I still have to put the engine in. I just bought that to sell it like 2 years ago, and I never did anything with it. I got an engine and the car for $1,500. Believe it or not, I could probably get $4 or $5 grand for it. It's actually in really good condition. Manual trans as well. Just a regular Cobalt, it's not an SS or anything. But too much to do, not enough time, even though theoretically I have more time than I can think about. But I don't know. Thanks for watching. My nose is running. And I'll see you guys next time.